We have three very interesting characters with awesome names. They all love our three singers who play our three characters love their names. Shazam, Rockstar, and Boss. They're all amazing. Where did these characters come from? Are they all a part of you? Who are they to you?
I think that it's probably would be a common response for many people that deal with theater that all characters are part of you. The most beautiful, the most terrible. They you have to find a way in with all of them. They aren't. None of them are me, but that's my lens. You know, I am a professional mid-career vocalist, which is Rockstar, right? And I am an educator, and that's Boss. And I'm trying to think of my closest friends who aren't creatives, right? Which is Shazam, right? So there's absolutely, I think in everything I do, there are little ways in, but then they go and they become this other thing, and I feel like they're all treated with great respect, and I laugh with them and I cry with them. You know, they become very real, and they're over there like friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And you referred earlier about throwing pasta at the wall, and I wanted to say, well, kind of literally, right? Because as we were recording, and it's worth saying that our three singers that play Shazam, Rockstar, and Boss are in three different states
Yeah,
and recorded this
right.
where they are. And so Brittany, who is Boss, has started referring to her carb aria. It's like I'm having a little trouble with the carb aria, and the trouble with the carb aria is that it has glorious high notes for her, which was clipping in her USB microphone.
Yep.
But
Yep.
so there was literally pasta being hurled at the wall. Uh, what does she sing? I'm making noodles and
Noodles and pancakes and
Thanks.
orzo and bread.
Noodles and pancakes and orzo and bread.
it's just beautiful. I love it so much. So obviously that turned into an image right away.
Yeah, so much of the language was so richly visual. When I think the first character we did, my test character, was Shazam, and that sort of started to feel. And they had to be very neutral characters, depending on we didn't know who was going to play them at the time, and male, female. So we kept them relatively, I would say neutral, but um, we left them in a place I think that people could use their imaginations and apply their thinking to these and relate them to no matter who was singing them. And then I think we came up with Boss. And then when I fell on Rockstar, Rockstar is my favorite. I mean, as I created that character, the fiery colors in the hair and the image on the clothing. To me, that was the one that I related to most. I loved the language. I loved the attitude. I loved everything about that character. But the challenge was to keep them all relatable, no matter where you were coming from and how you heard this, what it meant to you. And I think it was really fun to do that because we went around a little bit on some of them.
The characters do different things, and they do different things musically, and they do really inhabit different musical spaces, and I feel like that's reflected so in such interesting, compelling ways in the illustrations. Like Rockstar does have this. Rockstar sings, right? Rockstar is free, and there's a freedom and a joyfulness, an effervescence in the illustrations. And Boss was intentionally quite reserved in their pasta aria, right? In their introduction to who they are. There's even like a hint of a pinstripe in there. You know, there's a hint of this is a professional who's gonna play everything close to the vest. But that once Boss acknowledges that in order for them to move forward in their life, they have to accept this pasta eating craziness of like that for them that becomes the metaphor of just letting go, and that Chris allows them to take flight. What we really got at were they are all three unique in the story. They live in very different places, but Chris manages to, as he said, make them relatable, right? They're coming from such different places, such different worlds, and at the same time they exist together in one space. Chris finessed the just all of the elements that could have made them feel like disparate ones, right? And made allowed them to come together, which is really the nature of this piece, is that there is a sense of a shared experience for a lot of people through this COVID thing. And it's because the ways that everybody's being affected are unique to them, and socioeconomically, and all of the different factors that affect profoundly how people's lives have changed. But the fact that everyone's lives have changed is real. And so in that there is a place we can start to get at a dialogue of some kind of shared experience.
The three characters sort of deal with the situation in different ways, and they help each other through, right? Shazam is the one that has the biggest crisis, would you say?
Yeah, I think so.
And we talk about my sort of teary-eyed moments in this, and she has the first one, which is very early, when she talks about pushing back the paralyzing sadness. That is first of all, beautiful line, and in this fantastical world that is ultimately really funny, right? It's joyful, as you said, and it's really funny. It's this little push of realism,
Yeah.
and that gets you. So that's the first one that gets me.
I can start to push back against the paralyzing sadness, and maybe I can reach for feeling good.
Boss is the one that responds, and Boss gets the moments. Can you talk a little bit about that and how we get to the end through her reaction to that?
And that was one of the questions about who would be in the frame. And we decided together on Boss because they're lucky. I think it's not a matter of this person is stronger than this person in any day, I think, in our lives. I think that, who was it? It's been attributed now to lots of different people. The key to a successful marriage over 87 years of marriage or some crazy thing, and they said we never fell out of love at the same time. I don't really care who said it, because I think it's a beautiful idea that it's not about somebody so strong that it works. I think it's a friendship and our lives and our community of people. There's going to be hopefully someone in any moment that can help to rise up, and help to shoulder in that moment, or help me carry this thing, and Boss is saying, I'm going to help you carry this thing today. And I'm going to say, no, I'm not accepting this the loss that you're feeling is not where this ends. That's not the arc. We have to feel that loss and move through it, and in moving through loss, gather and rally and stand. And these are the specific things we can do. And we probably won't all do all of them, but what if we do this? Don't forget this. This is your responsibility to reach toward these things. And so that, and then it's just an expansive pan out musically and visually, because that's where the characters are. That's what self-awareness is, right? I mean, it's the ability to go from this thing where you're in it to give yourself the space to see the larger arc and your space in the context of a world, right? And that's what our characters do. They rally, and they do it in, I think, a way that is not on the nose, but sort of It's just a big expansive gesture for the last maybe fifth of the piece.
No, you made a commitment. Every day, every new day, you're going to rise up and you're going to go at all of this again.
There's the other tear-jerking moments, right? Because in all this, we can relate to all three of them and what they're experiencing, and your music is so emotional, I have to say. And when you get to the end and Boss says, no, here's what you're going to do. You're going to rise up every day and you're going to do all these things and you're going to vote, damn it. And we can talk about that in a minute. And you're going to, and you're going to listen. We're going to sing and we're going to move and talk and listen. And it takes on another dimension, I think, that the piece does in that moment. For me, it's, and I hope this will be for many people who watch it and listen to it, it's exactly what we need to hear. We need to hear that. We need somebody to tell us that, no, we're gonna get through this and we're going to move forward and you're gonna do these things because they're important. And that's how we're gonna make the world better, and that's how we're going to make, take this moment and move through it, which really just hit me from the beginning, from the first time I read the libretto, and to the final product. That has been consistent, and it's just glorious. So never fear that our little sourdough piece really has a lot of levels of meaning, and it's just beautiful. And I think that's it has hit me. It hit Christian, our recording engineer. Look out, world. It's going to hit you too.
I could barely get through. And even though the illustrations for the last 2 or 3 minutes are essentially just, as you pointed out, a moving away as the world becomes bigger and the stars start to sparkle. My God, when I was doing that, I could barely get to. The music is so beautiful. I think it's the most beautiful thing my sister's ever written. I really do. I mean, I say that every time she does a piece and I hear it, I'm just amazed. But this piece, to me, is so beautiful and so meaningful. And to your point, Maria, the last 3 minutes, I cannot hold it together. I just can't. And I've heard it several times. I just cannot hold it together. It's so beautiful.
And